right. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I'm very excited to talk with you.
Thank you very much, Katie. It's a pleasure to be on your channel.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I came up with just a few questions to ask you for today's video that I myself and hopefully my viewers would love to hear the answers to. So, shall we get started with that?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Alrighty, the first question that I have for you today is how did you get started uploading with print on demand and KDP?
Well, I was just trying to find a way to make money. I knew there was a way to make money online, but I didn't know exactly how. Actually, I've tried multiple business models before. I tried to be a coach, even though when I had no experience in life, I tried to coach I kind of felt into those like fake gurus. You don't need to know anything, but you can teach everything, this kind of stuff. And I just was naive, and I thought I can be a coach when I couldn't. And tried a few things, and I felt till I came across Redbubble, TeePublic, and all these print on demand platforms. I've seen some people make money with it online, so I was like, let me try. So I started with Redbubble back in July 2020. I was always kind of procrastinating. I should have started way earlier than that, but started uploading some designs, uploading. And to be honest, my design skills back then was like, wasn't great. Especially first design usually are not that great. So I started uploading. So what I used to do, it's funny. So what I used to do, we used to go to this Pixabay and Splash and just try to. I knew like cats are so popular. I mean, even myself, I love cats. I always find myself watching one of those funny cats videos and stuff like that online. But anyway, so what I used to do is back to go to those like Pixabay or whatnot, try to find these cute cat pictures and use those. I think the app it's called PixArt. So
Yeah.
basically, it turns those uh, photos to kind of pixelated, not pixelated, like hand drawn image.
Oh, like
And I
cartoon.
tried to, yeah, like cartoon exactly. So what I used to do is I tried to cut off the background and turn it into a kind of design. But
Mhm.
that didn't really work that well. Obviously, it's not that great. It's not that great. And that just keeps, producing like many of like these kind of designs. Was just just working on quantity. I was thinking, the higher number that you have, the more likely that you can make money.
Mhm.
And but after a while, I realized that's not the case. And I tried. Redbubble barely made like back then, like within a few months, I made, I don't know, like $8 or something like that.
Mhm.
So I knew what I was doing wasn't working. And uh, back then I had a friend of mine who asked me, was like, I told them that I was working on this Redbubble website. And he was like, why didn't you try KDP? And back then I had wrong idea about KDP. I thought KDP was you just create those book covers, and if the authors like your book covers, they are going to use them on their books.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm not that great at designing books anyway. I didn't know that you can actually upload like those notebooks and all that,
Mhm.
log books and all these easy books to create.
Yeah.
And once I dived a little bit deeper, and I knew what actually KDP is, when I kind of compared to websites, Amazon compared to Redbubble. Redbubble gets about 50 million monthly viewers, when Amazon gets about like 2 billion, you know? So that's a huge like difference.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew there's way more potential with Amazon KDP than there's with with Redbubble. Even though I've seen a lot of people that make thousands of dollars with Redbubble.
Mhm.
So I started. I went on YouTube and I came across this guy called Ryan Hogue, I
Oh.
believe.
Mhm.
He's
Yep.
from America as well, just like yourself. And back and to the pro. I think the problem that I did is I started watching someone who is not a, so because he is the first person that I used to watch.
Mhm.
So I took everything from him, and I took the wrong ideas, because I used to think that it's all about quantity. You just upload whatever books, and because the videos he uploaded, it was in 2019. So in 2019, it wasn't as much competition.
Mhm.
2019, if you upload maybe some decent books, you would make sales anyway, because the competition is not as high as now. And yeah, that's the kind of mentality that I had. And so I was like, just, uploading as many books as I can to KDP. And till in February, my account got terminated. But later on, when I talked to Amazon KDP support, they told me it was just because of an error. Maybe it
Mhm.
was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I was lucky to actually to not lose my account
Yeah, that's a
permanently. Yeah, so that was like the start. It was a pretty long answer,
No,
but yeah,
it's
so that,
perfect. Yeah, I love hearing
yeah,
stories about how people like first came across print on demand and how they got started and everything because it's so unique and different for everyone.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, but as much as it is great, anyone can get started with it. Um, it is kind of not great in another way, because if it's anyone can be your competitor, it is kind of hard to, stand out, because
Yeah,
you have
it's
so much
true.
competition. So that's kind of the downside to it. But overall, I think it's good. You know?
Yeah, I really felt what you said about just trying to upload as many designs as possible. I think it's definitely quality over quantity when it comes to especially Redbubble, I think, and some of the designs, just because quantity does not necessarily mean anyone's going to buy all the designs that you're putting out.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So it's very interesting, because when I first got started, I thought that um, quantity low, it's always matters. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I understood that there's some element of quality that mattered, but quantity is the most important one. And then I went to the other side, where I started to think that, well, it's all about quantity, it's all about quality.
Mhm.
And then I started to create some quality books, but they didn't make sales. So I believe it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You have to create a quantity of quality books. You know,
Yep.
it's not just. I know some people, they say, well, if you just create one great book, you're gonna make a ton of money, whatever. But I don't think that's the case, because sometimes you might do everything right and still it's not gonna fly for some reason. You know,
Yeah,
so
I
you have
totally.
to create the right quantity, and with the right quality as well.
Yep. And then hopefully you will end up getting lucky and in all of those quality books that you are creating, find one that does in fact take off. That I think that's everyone's hope, right?
Yeah. I think there's some elements of luck, 100%. You know,
Hmm.
one of my books actually made me about 250, $50, maybe more.
Oh, nice.
Um, and just because I was like working on so many niches, and I just happened to be one of the first people in that niche,
Mhm.
and there was a very high profit margin, so I make about $4 from each sale from that book.
Oh, wow.
And it's just some normal book. Actually, I didn't spend any money on it. I just created everything by myself.
Hmm.
And I was able to, make some decent money with it.
Awesome. That is a perfect segue to my next question, which is what is your niche research process like? It sounds like you've come up with a bunch of different niches to go after at once. Do you just kind of look around on Amazon or do you use a site like BookBolt to help with finding those niches?
Good question. So actually, I use all kind of ways. I try to be creative sometimes. I try to come up with unique ways to find niches and stuff like that, especially when I have uploaded so many videos about how to find niches. I use book balls, but I don't think it's the most efficient way to find niches. So niches, I mainly find them through just searching on Amazon for the most
Hmm.
part. Just go, for example, just go on Amazon, type whatever book type you're looking for. For example, you're looking for coloring books, just go to pick the book department, I believe,
Hmm.
and it's called department, right? My English is not perfect. You're a native
Yeah,
English
yeah,
speaker.
that's
Correct
right.
me. Yeah. So basically, pick book and search, for example, coloring books, and I just go through each page one by one till the last one, till I see all of them. And also I go to the product page and I scroll down. I see all the suggested products as well.
Hmm.
That's how I find niches. And I think now I know it's very rare when someone come up to me and tell me, "Oh, this niche." I think I know most niches now, and I probably know like 80% of them, at least with the coloring books and like those no content books. Maybe some in later higher content, maybe because I don't even look into it. Oh yeah, this is I mean, as soon as you're gonna spend the some time, just searching on Amazon for some decent amount of time, you
Hmm.
will kind of know what's available on the market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. That's kind of how I ended up finding a decent niche this past October that actually ended up selling a few books for me. It was just, playing around on the website, seeing what people were looking for, and then I just happened to create a book that fit into that niche, and it just worked out. So it's kind of neat to hear that you're also kind of doing something similar.
Yeah, I think that niche was related to Halloween, if am I wrong?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's the problem with like seasonal niches. That's why I don't think I'm going to. Well, I'm going to work on these seasonal niches, but
Mhm.
not as much. Because with seasonal niches, you are only going to make money for a certain period of time. And
Mhm.
I think there is a second approach that you can take if you want to work on them. For example, for Halloween, instead of creating, for example, a Halloween coloring book, you can instead create a horror coloring book that can sell all year round and also make it some crazy sales during Halloween as well. You know?
Mm. Yeah, that's a
Yeah. So
very good point.
yeah, and that's one of the mistakes that I have made back in when I was preparing for Q4. I
Mhm.
made about like some 10 coloring books and stuff or something like that.
Mhm.
And all of them, they were about Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and none of them made, well, actually, few have made me few sales, but just now they're just sitting there. Even now, if I want to advertise them, it just doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
question.
All right. Next up on my list, what, as far as you remember, is your best-selling um like format, like which type, like is it notebook, journal? I know you have a number of these low content types of books that sell for you frequently. I was wondering if over the entire time that you've been uploading on KDP, you've noticed if one specific type perhaps has been selling better than the others so far for you.
Okay, good question. So for me, I would say journal. Well, I have one journal that's kind of makes the whole difference. So I have this one journal that made me decent money,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I have a lot of books on Amazon. I have about 850 or something like that. I had like 1,300 and something, and I kind of unpublished. I'm not sure, maybe 400 or something like that as well. I was kind of concerned about my accounts, especially when you saw making some. I've been making over $100 for about 5, 6 months now. So
Congrats.
it's yeah, thank you. So I don't want to take the risk to lose my account for some random books that
Mm-hmm.
barely make me anything. So, but yeah, to me personally, it's about journals. I think there's so much potential with journals. Also, the profit margin is way higher,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, basically how I make that $100, like because I have so many books. some books like this book makes me $4, this one make me $2, this one make me 10, this one makes me 20 till I make the hundred and something dollars each month. So
Hmm.
yeah, but my goal now, I want to work on books. I want to make the a great books and actually throw money on advertising them as well
Hmm.
and take the risk to make them work and make just few books that make me like 80 or 90% of my okay income. So and there's a lot of people that think that it is not easier because you might create coloring books that still might not work for you. But my theory is coloring books are way easier to create than actual journals or notebooks. So if you, for example, if you upload 100 notebooks and you upload 100 coloring books, there's a chance that maybe like 10, 20 of your coloring books will actually make you few sales. When with notebooks, if you upload 100 notebooks, maybe one or two or three will make you few sales. You know, so there's just small potential with books that are slightly higher content. That's my theory, and that's what I have seen because I have created about maybe 15 coloring books, and from those 15 coloring books, at least five of them made me sales.
Okay, interesting. That is
Yeah,
definitely an interesting theory about more high content books
higher.
making, yeah, higher content books making more sales for you. I'm not sure, I guess based on my experience, I'd probably have to agree with you since I think more of my sales have come from higher content books than from just like journals and notebooks and things like that. Hmm, something to think about.
And also good timing.
Yeah, that's true.
If you work, for example, on there's a one chick, I forgot her name, Sarah Lara, something like that. She's American as well. I think you probably know her, Sarah Lara, or something like that.
Is
Anyway,
is her account Wholesale Ted? That one?
no, 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 no. Her actual channel name is
Oh, okay.
Sarah
Maybe not.
Larson, maybe.
Okay. I think I've heard of her actually.
Yeah, she started in July, and good for her. She started uploading composition notebooks,
Mm. Mm.
and she started making like 300 from her first month or second month, I think. So that was very interesting. But
Mm.
after the back to school period is over, she
Yeah.
wasn't making as much.
Mm.
So even like for example, the composition notebooks, if you work on them at the right time, you might have some chance to make some decent money with it.
Yeah, I guess it's just we have to come up with a decent balance of more seasonal and evergreen niches to try and keep some consistency going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Actually,
And
by the way, you're actually a native English speaker. You don't have any problem. I'm sure you can type a text or a long, like, for example, story for kids with no problem.
mhm.
Whenever actually I try to upload, so for example, sometimes I type some long description for my book or something. I always double check with someone who's a native English speaker, something like that, because I'm not 100% sure. Because even though the way that I learned English is just based on observation, I didn't like go to just I I just like feels like, oh, this time I feel like I have to say this. It's not based on some knowledge. So yeah, back to the point that I was trying to tell you is that your English is great. I think if you can create these short story books for
Mhm.
kids, and they do fairly well, even way better than coloring books. But you just have to do a little bit of niche research.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And
Your
also you
English.
have carry on.
I was just going to say your English is really awesome, and that actually is some advice that I give to some of my viewers who aren't native English speakers is to have a buddy of theirs just maybe double check, especially for the designs themselves, because I do see a number of designs in my shop reviews where the grammar is incorrect and the English is incorrect, and I'm have to be like, I'm sorry, but native speakers will not buy this from you because the English is incorrect. So I think that's a really good point you brought up there.
Yeah, yeah. What I was going to say? Yeah, and with short stories, you can sell Kindle, you can sell it as an ebook, you can sell it paperback, and also you can sell it with a hard book. I would say I have three, and also if it's a bit longer, you can do also audiobook. So you have four income sources from one book.
That
So
is
there's
true.
way more potential. That's what I'm actually planning on doing in the future, but I need to have some money to kind of, because I'm going to hire someone who will write the story for me, because I don't think I can do that for myself, you know.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
actually also
Yeah.
a very good segue into one of my other questions, which is
Oh,
what,
I'm so great at going to your
yeah,
segues.
yeah, you're doing perfect with this. So
Oh,
what are your plans for at least 2022 or further along for your KDP business?
okay, great question. So my plan is to, you know, I have like a certain niches that I'm going to work on, and I'll try to do my best to make, well, maybe not the best quality, but better than average quality,
Mhm,
and try to learn ads. So back in my first year, what I used to do was I start ads. The campaign, basically, the ad campaign just starts to make, just start collecting some data, and I see myself like spending $5. Oh, I'm like, oh, that's too much, $5. I'm not making
mhm,
any profit. Stop that. Yeah, even sometimes the ad campaign is actually performing well, and I just stop it because I'm too hesitant. I don't wanna. I was in the mentality of playing to not lose instead of playing to win. You know.
mhm,
So now I'm more. I don't. Well, actually, to be honest, because back then I had no money. Now I have a little bit more money. You know.
mhm,
I have some money to throw in. So I'm trying. So basically, my goal for 2020 is to take advantage of ads, and especially with ads with Amazon, you're not gonna make ROI right away. You know,
mhm,
return of investment right away. You have to throw money. You have to collect some data, know which keywords are profitable, which one aren't, and all that. And then later on, maybe after a few months, then you can see kind of the fruits of your work. You know. So that's for me, for my goals for 2020. I'm definitely not going to upload as many books.
mhm,
Back in 2020, I uploaded about 1,000 or more. Probably this year, maybe I'll upload maybe like something like 300.
mhm,
But because here's the thing, I think there are some books that are more. I focus more on quality, and there are books that I focus more on quantity. But the ones that I focus more on on quality, I'm going to focus more on advertising them. But the ones that I don't really care about. I mean, there are good quality. I never got any bad star review. Like the worst review that I've gotten was like 3 stars, and I don't even know why. So they just left 3 stars review. Maybe they forgot the book
Something
at
like
the
that.
train station, and they were like, "Oh, the book is bad." Anyway, I'm not making any sense. But anyway, so basically, and I have the books that are, that I make more quantity, but I don't advertise them. And I still make some of them they make sales, some of them they don't.
Mhm,
So yeah, that was like the longest answer that I can give. So basically, I'm going to focus more on advertising books, and also I'm going to focus more on quality than quantity for sure.
okay. Makes perfect sense to me. I have actually heard, especially on YouTube, that when you're doing Amazon ads, it's more you do the ads for a book that is already performing well and making you sales, and then that just boosts the amount of sales you're making into like a virtuous cycle instead of the other way around trying to use an Amazon ad in order to get one book to start making sales, which I thought was interesting. It's not something I would have realized if I just tried to do it on my own. So, do you think that has any validity to it, or is that not so much?
Not really, actually. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
The book that I told you about, the one that's I said made me about 250.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did not. I mean, I never advertised it and made me that much. And when I advertised it, it made me sales. Well, actually, made me a couple sales. The first few days, and then just keep the ACOS was like reached 60%.
Hmm.
But I was like, I'm not gonna, just gonna keep collecting data and see which keywords are working and which are not.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, based on my experience, I know this is what I tell people all the time, that whatever you see on the internet, experiment things for yourself and know what works best for you. Because what might work best for me might not work best for you, etc., etc. So for me, even though some books they do fairly well, I try to advertise them, and it just doesn't really make me as many. Just the ACOS goes to the sky. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
sounds good. The ACOS is like 8%. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. Next day, 50%. So, I don't. Maybe there's some element of truth to it, but and I don't. I'm halfway. I don't
Yeah.
agree and I don't disagree. I have a kind of neutral.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I guess I'll have to test it out for myself and see what I find as well, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen some people. They just start a campaign. They just it works great for them, and it just never happened to me. So, and
Yeah.
I create multiple campaigns, and now I create like product targeting campaign, keyword targeting campaign, an auto campaign, another auto campaign, another auto. Like I do multiple ones, and some of them they work well, some of them don't, some of them, and later on you just turn off the ones that are not performing well.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. All right, I have two more questions for you. The first one is, do you usually try to have like a specific amount or like a specific royalty from each type of book, or do you change it for each niche depending on your competition?
Well, it depends on, it's all about supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
But I have an interesting theory about it as well. So I had this one book, X, Y, and Z niche, and most books in that niche are quite expensive, over $10,
Mm-hmm.
10, 9, that's like the average price. And what I was thinking is, I was like, what, I'm gonna price my book the cheapest in the market in
Mm-hmm.
that niche. And I did. The price was like about $4.99. And I was advertising that book. I was getting a ton of clicks,
Mm-hmm.
but zero conversion. But
Hmm.
once I increased the price to like about $9, it started making me sales. And my theory is that people, when they see a super cheap book, they expect it to be a low quality, even though probably the same. They're all printed by Amazon. Well, at least
Mm-hmm.
some of them are. So for me personally, I just look at the competition at the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I try sometimes, if the book is making me somewhat decent sales, I try to increase the price tiny bit by a bit. Especially when you just go with update the price of your book. It just takes a few hours to get updated on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like republishing the book from the start. So and I just keep increasing the price quite a bit, and I see what I can make. And once, if it's like, for example, if let's just say I make two sales per day with this book, for example, and I increase the price, it keeps making me two sales per day. I increase the price, keeps making me two sales a day. Increase the price, makes me zero sales a day. I leave it for about 3 days to just make sure,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it doesn't, then I just get like price it back to where it was.
Okay. That seems like a really good strategy. I think I'll definitely have to try that out as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And my final question for you is, what is the best piece of advice that you could give to someone who is perhaps either just starting out on Amazon KDP or has started out but isn't really seeing any sales?
Well, here's the thing. To me personally, is what I would say. Well, it depends actually where you're coming from, because it's funny because a lot of people who lose their accounts are from third world countries, you know,
Hmm.
and the reason why is they don't really know. I mean, it's very interesting, even though like you're from America, the world where you live, everything is very regulated. It's not like in third world countries. I can get away with a lot of stuff that I can't get away with in America, for example. So even the mentality is way different. So people here, they don't care about the rule as much as they do in America. For example, just give an example, America is a first world country. So I would say definitely make sure that you know the rules, because I know we on YouTube we get all kinds of viewers, some from India, some from Morocco, some from there, some from here, and I'm pretty sure the people are from first world countries are they're gonna be fine probably if we're gonna follow the rules. So for me, what I would say is make sure that you know the rules, what you should do, what you should not do, and all that, so you do not end up, because here's the thing, even with so you may make a mistake or whatnot with KDP,
Mm-hmm.
and they are not going to terminate your account the next day. They're probably going to leave you months till they're gonna get back to you, tell, you uploaded this book, this and that, uh, you know, your account is suspended or whatever. So yeah, my first piece of advice would be know the rules, and second one would be don't rush. It's I used to think that the faster you try to run after money, I think this applies with anything you do in life.
Mm-hmm.
The faster you actually try to catch something, you end up not, you just end up losing it. So the faster you try just to make that money as soon, because we think that the harder that we work, the reward is going to be higher, which is, I don't think that's the case. So when I was getting started, I used to think that I'm going to upload 50 books a day. And I was doing that and I wasn't making anything, I was just uploading garbage to Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of, it's not, I think, I know a lot of so many people that have that mindset, and it's not helpful. I would say that no, do focus more like the time that you're going to uh, put on actually creating the books that's probably not going to work on Amazon. Instead, try to do a little bit of a niche research and try to come up with unique ideas as well. Know what's in the market and know what kind of value can you add to Amazon. Because there are so many people that what most people do is they just go on Amazon, they see like, oh, this book is selling, I'm just gonna copy it. And I've seen some people, they get their accounts terminated because they copy the exact book. They just copy the book cover, the title, subtitle, everything, and they just end up just losing their account, and that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. I think that is a very, very good point.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say, just to keep it short, know the rules. Two, don't rush it. Do your research, know which books are you making, if
Mm-hmm.
you actually can. Even this is what I started doing. If I were on to work on some X, Y, and Z niche, buy that book. Know why it's a good book. Know why the customer wants to buy that book, and understand the customer. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
then know how you can create a unique version of that book and compete, or maybe even improve upon that book as well. Look at the reviews and all that, so how you can be better than your competitors, and you have higher chance, to actually make a book that work well for you. So, yeah, that would be my piece of advice.
Perfect. That was a wonderful piece of advice.
Thank
I
you.
think our time is approaching the limit, so thank you so much for chatting with me today.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.